haircut. I look so much better than I did in like the last 2 videos, right? Yeah, no makeup though. I was coming in here to talk about some of my witch books, and after seeing like that it must be book week, because everybody is talking about some of their witchy books and what they've gotten recently and all that, I decided I'm gonna hold off and do the book reviews maybe in two or three videos down the line, and instead I am going to sidetrack and talk about some of my favorite movies about witchcraft. "2006 gave us the movie The Covenant, which is about a bunch of guys. It's about a bunch of men who are descendants from a group, a set of group of covens. Sentence makes any sense. And it is sort of like a male version of The Craft, so to speak, because you've got the core group, who in this case are the good guys, and the one newcomer who comes in who ends up being the bad guy out for all the power. If you haven't seen it, it's geared towards the kind of, it's, I wouldn't say teenagers, but sort of. It's more of a young adult, quote unquote, geared story. Not really a horror film. I would say it's more of a thriller than a horror film. It definitely plays on the whole Craft fan base. The movie on the list would be Little Witches, which came out in 1996, same time as The Craft. And I think this one kind of got lost in the shuffle because The Craft, blew up and did what it did. Basically, this storyline is about a group of girls in a private school who are stuck there for the long holiday weekend and find an old grimoire buried in the catacombs the catacombs underneath their church, connected to the school because it is a private school. And they decide it would be really fun to perform some of the rituals in this grimoire. Meanwhile, you have this ancient guardian who is out to stop them from raising, quote unquote, the devil. The packaging, actually, the cover of it is a little deceiving because it's actually a cutaway that was used from The Craft. So it specifically puts it into your mind that this movie is connected to The Craft when it's not. Speaking of The Craft, that would be the next one on the list. Of course, the 1996 cult classic, The Craft, about the 4 girls who are getting revenge on everybody who's made their life hell up to that point. And we've all had our discussions about the remake and what we think and all that. I also think it would have been better if it had been a sequel, 20 years later, catching up with the original characters. That's what I would have done. But hey. Next up, Elvira, Mistress of the Dark. Yes, it's a comedy, but how can you not love Elvira? When she's cooking what she thinks is a casserole and it's actually a monster, she's conjuring up this monster. It's one of the best scenes, and then when she takes it and she goes to go get revenge on the neighbors, it's brilliant. For anyone who hasn't seen Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, it's a 1998 movie. Sorry, 1988. 1988 movie. I'm here today. Really, I am. I can talk. I can think. She finds out that she is the recipient of a inheritance from an aunt she never knew she had, and she goes to the small town where she is more than just standing out like a sore thumb, and it's her kind of battle of learning who she is and the ancestry she comes from with the small town values. And then there's an evil uncle who's this great wizard who wants this grimoire spellbook, and wackiness pursues. (1995) Voodoo, starring Corey Feldman. Again, we are back in college with a fraternity that's not really a fraternity. It's secretly a group of zombies that are run by a voodoo priest. And Corey Feldman his character becomes the latest victim to be sacrificed in order for this voodoo priest to gain immortality. It's kind of, when you say it out loud, it sounds like, huh? Really? This was made? But if you haven't checked it out, you should. Witches of Eastwick. That's what, a 1986, 86, 87. I'm really not sure on the year. We all know it's a classic. I'm sure it's on everyone's shelf based on the book. For those of you who haven't seen it, on TV 5 billion times, you have 3 women in a small town who are sick and tired of the way things are going in their life, and they decide to make a change. One has been divorced, one has been abandoned, and one has been widowed. And you have the 3 kind of elements here going on. I almost want to say Mother, Maiden, Crone, but that doesn't really fit. But I guess it does. And of course, they conjure the devil without realizing it. And once they do realize it, it's too late. And they have to deal with the choice of following through with the seduction or fighting back and taking their power back. Practical magic. The 1998. There we go with the 1998. The 1998 classic, also based on a book. We have the for anyone who hasn't seen it, family, the Owen sisters, the 2 main characters, Sally and Jilly. Terrible luck in love. The one ends up widowed and having to move back in with her aunts with her 2 young daughters, whereas the other one has an abusive boyfriend, and they end up having to kill him, and his ghost haunts them. Sorry. You see a lot of the family, the coming together, the community finally accepting them, and everything they have to go through to find love, not just romantic love, but love of self and the bonds that bring everybody together. I'm still Art of Blood. Till next time, Creeping Screams.